All right. Looks like it's the end of the road for this targeted individual story. Rendered homeless due to the gang stalking program. This is just run of the mill. You're either at your parents' house or you're homeless because of this program. I sat here and fought tooth and nail for about, say, the better part of 2.5, 3 years of the overt, not overt, the covert agenda to make you homeless, lose all your fucking finances here, right? So I'm gonna give my testimony. I'm gonna wait for the perp to come in here because I literally just got attacked by the government, like the actual government. This happens when I talk about gang stalking to a family member. I vent it and explain it to them, and that's what happened. Because I'm not gonna go into names. I'm not gonna be naming names. Like, I've been getting help from a family member, okay, for a while now. I'm not gonna lie. I've been sitting here working, but I've been paying for a rental car, which is up to $600 a week, right? It's between 400 to 600 each week. And a hotel, the hotel's not that much. It's about like 375. I mean, it still adds up, but it's not much more than an apartment, what I was paying for my apartment. So I've been working 7 days a week. I'm not gonna act like I work hard. I've been delivering pizza, doing DoorDash. People look down on it, but you make good money. Like, you make over 1,000 a week easily doing those two things. So you get paid every day. It's not a bad plan if you have a car, right? If you have your own car, right? So been asking my family member for money, getting financial support. It's not something I want to brag about. I wasn't always like this. I feel bad. I feel like a bum, obviously. But there's nothing I can do, because if you're renting a car and you don't have money to rent a car, like, you can't make money. Now, you can say, oh, well, you can get a regular job. Okay, if I work a regular job, I get $20 an hour, 9 to 5. That's 800 a week. Like, without taxes being taken out, you get paid every 2 weeks. If anything goes wrong, you lose the hotel and you can't make it to that job. So, or, you have to pay money for Lyft. So in this circumstance, it wasn't the worst idea. Of course, it's a bad situation. Things are my fault, somewhat. So, but I want to explain to people how real this program is. Like, you're being under surveillance. So I'm talking to this family member and just explaining, like, hey, I need help with the car, like buying a car, because I've tried to buy a car. Like, I went to a dealership. They're like, oh, well, we don't accept DoorDash as an income. Your other job's okay. But, like, so I would have to, again, find another job. So I've been explaining, yeah, I've been spending 450 to 600 a week on just cars. And if you add that over a course of a year, what's that, like $15,000? If I had like a $1,500 car, I'll be able to pay that person back like real quickly. So I explained like the program, showed some evidence to them, explained who's doing it, the NSA, the FBI, that they're tapping the phone, listen to me, and like explain how I'm being surveilled. And if people are in live time setting up things for me to fuck up, like, obviously, like, and I'm explaining what happened. So this time I explained it to the family member. They understand, right? There's, if you're TI, you already know, like, even if they believe you, they like don't believe you, right? They don't believe it's possible that people would do this in live time and monitor people and harass people over a long period of time, right? So I explained it, blah, blah, blah. We talked for an hour. I do DoorDash for, I don't know, I make like $100 because I have to. Like, I bust my ass. Like, I work all day if I need to. If you live in a hotel, you can't afford to take a day off, really, because if you'll be like, damn, I wish I had that money from that day I took off. We're looking at $800 to $900 a week, right? And I was doing a pretty good job with it for a little bit, but I'm a rewards member, so I get free nights. I got like 3 free nights. I'm shopping for the cheapest hotels. Like, I'm paying about $40-50 a night for like a decent hotel. I'm not paying any more than 60. I'm not paying 80-90. It's nothing, like, it's $350 a week, basically. It's nothing. So these people shut my DoorDash off. I sign in. I'm dashing already. This just happened. I sign in. They asked me to verify my ID. verify my identity, take a selfie and the driver's license, and now I'm locked out for 3 business days. This is my main source of income. Now, keep in mind, I just spoke to a family member, explained for like 30 minutes everything. Yeah, like the vandalism. So I'm gonna go over my testimony because there's a lot of new people to this channel. And let me explain this before I go into the testimony. This happened before. I was at a Roadway Inn hotel, like a shitty hotel, right? I think I got a good deal, 300 for the whole week. It was like 310. Like that's just an amazing deal, but I'm not going back there. It's like too shitty, right? But when you're living this lifestyle, you have to get the cheapest deals. Not like you live in shit, but you can't stay at the Holiday Inn, the Marriott. Like you're just gonna go homeless the next day. Like it's $100 a night. So I'm staying there. I tell my parents, like, I tell my family member, right? Like the drone thing. Like the drone was outside of my hotel, and I'm like, yeah, it's the FBI doing this shit. So the next day, there's this white dude. He's like this poor looking, like fat white dude, right? Just basically a perp. He's cleaning the hotels. I never seen him before. He puts a FBI hat on the next day. An FBI black old hat that like someone gave to him. Like you can tell someone just gave it to him or he found it or something. So guess what else happens? They shut the water off for the whole hotel for quote unquote construction. So I couldn't take a shower. Like I went to the gym, and this wasn't, these people will attack a bunch of people, especially poor people that are surrounding the target. Like they will attack the whole community if they need to, because they're like these overseers with the technology and the surveillance and all that, sitting in their whatever military bunkers, NSA fusion center, you name it. I'm not gonna act like I know, but it's that type of setting. Like it's that type of technology and that type of professionalism involved. They shut the entire water off. So there's like this pipe that's in a hole in the ground, like construction, and you see all these like Hispanic construction workers fixing it, right? Look like they're actually fixing it. And the guy with the FBI hat sitting there, this fat white guy's about 6 years old, has like a goatee, gray hair, out of shape, looks like he's junk all the time, poor looking. He wasn't like a gang stalking handler or anything, but clearly a perp. I think they just said my identity's back. Hold on. Okay. False alarm. Like I'll keep it real on this channel. They let me back on. Sometimes they do that to scare you because I'm not in the hard part of my targeting, right? Like it has laying up. But again, if something it changes, I don't like continue on with the drama. But yeah, that definitely was gang stalking, absolutely. But I'll still go into my testimony real quick. I mean, I probably shouldn't. I probably should be getting to work, but I'm gonna go into the testimony. Keep this nice and short. So, me myself, I grew up. I'm gonna just, I know a lot of people aren't just gonna. Oh, we think you're a perp. We don't think you're real. Well, for this sake of this story, I am a real target. So just don't question. Just go with it. And then at the end, be your own judge by listening to the story. Because if you start by listening to the testimony, like he's fake, everything he says is fake. Like you're not gonna, I'm gonna be unbiased and give you the whole real deal, raw dog, fucking truth. Okay. Me, my childhood, like I grew up pretty normal. Childhood wasn't that exciting. My parents worked. I spent a lot of time alone as a kid, like at the house, 8 years old, coming home from school. I had a dog, cool ass dog. I'm not going to go into the whole childhood story, but just to give you a background, Christian family, like our family had problems, but nothing really crazy compared to other families. But, I'll go into like the story of like I can't give too many details. One of my parents had like like kind of a sort of a mental breakdown when I was younger and shit. And then this has to do with gang stalking because we moved into a new house and someone put a plant in the house. Like we move into the house, it's like the first week, and like while we're moving, someone puts like this random plant. Like this is a sign of witchcraft. Like we grew up in Florida, so there were witches and like Haitians and shit like that. But one of my parents did talk about people like following them and shit. But it wasn't like I don't know if it was gang stalking or not. But it, like I kind of find it weird. I feel like it was like a mental thing. Like they don't talk about that shit no more. Believe in that shit. But I don't think it was gang. The only thing I think was gang stalking that really did happen was like someone did put a plant in the house. Like I don't know, because that's the stuff you hear from like Doctor De Facto type of stuff. Like so, moving forward, nothing really happened significantly. Great like childhood, good memories, good friends. I had a lot of friends. Had a good amount of friends at elementary school. Good amount of friends in middle school. I never was like the super popular kid, but I was just like average, like, people fucked with me and shit. So high school, I was like a quiet kid, but towards the end, I got like a bunch of friends and shit towards like senior year, junior year. No gang stalking. People used to sometimes people like pick on me, like older seniors and shit, pick on me and shit like that. Like when I was a freshman, like nothing serious. Like I wasn't like bullied, but I almost got in fights and shit, but nothing gang stalking related. Like there were kind of always people hating on me in the neighborhood. I don't think that's gang stalking, but there were people like sometimes hating on me and shit for no reason because I was good at basketball and like, I don't know, maybe they just didn't like me and shit like that. So I never was paranoid of gang stalking, people following me or nothing. I was into alien conspiracies in high school, making money on the internet. I used to do GPT, get paid to surveys. I was doing all that shit, selling stuff on eBay. So I played basketball, you know. Uh, I started a business. This my friend from high school. He was like this internet like millionaire. Started a business. Uh, his dad was a politician and I believe a Freemason. No, I never seen the symbolism, but I just could tell. Like you could just tell he was a Freemason, even if I didn't even know what that was. But he was a good dude. He was a nice guy. There was nothing like nefarious about that shit. So I moved to Florida. I get in a car accident when I'm 25. Like nothing happens really. Anything gang stalking. I get in an accident when I'm 25. Move back to my parents. Now this is when shit gets weird. Okay. So the car accident, someone T-bones me. I spin 3 times. Fucking like, I thought I was like 3 months prior, right? And I get out the car, like I had weed on me. I had a half ounce of weed and I was smoking. And I think the accident was probably my fault. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But the cop was like, "Were you smoking?" I'm like, "Nope." So you got any weed on you? Nope. You want to go to the ambulance? I'm like, "Nope." I definitely probably had like a concussion because I was like, I got passed out and shit after the accident. But the cop's name was Chappelle. It was a white dude. His name was Chappelle. Like I found that funny. So I moved back to my parents' house for a couple years, and this is when the stalking starts. So when I first moved back, there's a house guest at my parents, and my parents didn't have air conditioning. It was like the heat wave summer, I believe 2016, 100 degrees, like nationwide. It was like so hot. So I'm playing CS:GO on the computer, and I pass out, and I wake up, and there's like a lump on my forehead, like it's like a rice grain lump. I still have the scar to this day on my above my eyebrow. Now, it felt like a microchip. I didn't see anybody. I don't think anybody, like in my reality, nobody put a microchip in me. But I'm telling you, that thing under my skin, it just, you wake up from a nap and you have this fucking hard ass grain of rice right above your fucking eyebrow. And then it's moving around and shit. It feels like plastic. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, maybe a bug bit me. That's what I kind of thought at first. I'm like, maybe it's a bug bite or something. But it was there for a few days, and then now there's a scar, right? So I don't believe I was microchipped. But because I've been through this experience, it wouldn't shock me. Like, I didn't see anybody go in the house. I wasn't passed out that bad. I'm almost positive that lady didn't do it. It was like some foreign lady, old ass lady. She was weird, but maybe, I don't know. But I doubt it, you know. So this is the reason why I'm bringing this up, because this is 2016. My gang stalking doesn't even start till like 2018, 19. So I'm into conspiracies. I'm into like exposing Alex Jones. I make the Matrix Decoded first channel, exposing Alex Jones as Bill Hicks, and just like trolling the Freemasons, learning about Freemasonry. Okay. So that's from 2016, 17 to maybe 18, right? So before the gang stalking, I was making comedy videos on Owen Benjamin on a private YouTube channel. And I have the evidence of this. He was alluding to reading off a script in his live stream, alluding to things I talked about in my videos, making fun of him on a private channel. So that was the first instance. I was starting getting stuff with like Alex Jones a little bit too, alluding to watching my Matrix Decoded channel. I have like evidence of it. It's like circumstantial at best, but still, like, it's better than nothing. It's not like someone just making shit up. Like, I actually have the videos from 2018, side by side videos of them, and you can be your own judge. I'm just saying. So I'm bringing this up because I believe this has to do with gang stalking, right? This is when it starts getting interesting. Then I learned about gang stalking. 2018, I think maybe 17 or 18. I watched this guy Stop Invasion of Privacy and Kevin Perlman. And, you know, I'm into conspiracies. I want to believe it, but I was watching to be my own judge. So I'm like looking at people's videos. I looked for hours and hours. I'm like, I don't see this shit. I don't see it. And I started seeing like, maybe like I'm trying to like get in these people's heads of being a TI. Like, I want to like kind of believe in it, but I don't automatically believe in it. But since I'm into conspiracies, like, of course I'm going to believe in it, right? So I started shit posting on 4chan, like looking into that shit. All the in real life, I'm doing shit to gain attraction from intelligence agencies on purpose, because I'm like a stupid kid and I'm pushing the envelope. Like, I don't think that like people are really spying, but I want to test it out. I'm like, what will these guys do if I fuck with like an NSA agent? So one day I was on drunk and I got a video on my phone. Like, I made a selfie video that I never uploaded with no intentions of uploading to the internet, just made it and deleted it, where I just talk shit on FBI agents. Like, fuck you guys. You guys are tiny dick little faggots. Like, you spy on us. Like, I was just being really vitriolic. Like, I was angry, but I was saying like crazy shit drunk, like really provoking these motherfuckers. So the next day, I get a call from someone in my family that was in jail, that's been in jail for a long time. And like, yo, I'm getting out of jail, right? Like, they weren't supposed to get out of jail for like another 3-4 years. So I'm at TGIF Fridays. They had a $5 deal where you get a nice ass TGIF Fridays burger and fries. So I go in to pick it up. I just did an Amazon Flex delivery gig, like driving in the country, delivering packages. Got off work. Family member calls me, says they're getting out of jail. Then I ordered the burger. It's $5. When I go in, the girl that gives it to me, this might be relevant, it might not. I'm just telling you what I saw. This girl was clearly like a pagan witch occultist, you know? She seemed like a nice girl, like a white girl skin, like the metal necklaces, the fucking anagram, like literally the devil anagram witchcraft star on her. She hands me the burger, right? I go home, I eat the burger. Fucking, I just feel like I swallowed glass. Like, I never had any gastrointestinal problems. Nothing. Stomach, even to this day. Like, this is the only time this has happened in my entire life. The day after I talk shit on the NSA and the FBI, I feel like I eat glass every time I get up. Like, I had to lay down. It literally felt like glass was in my stomach, cutting my stomach every step. I'm like, damn, dude, like, it feels like you're fucking dying. So I don't know if that was like some type of warning, poison, or like, you know, like, think about it. If phones being spied, this is what I was thinking when I was making the video. Like, oh, they're spying on everyone's phones. That means if I make a video, they can see what I'm saying. So I used to make videos like talking shit to them and all that. So again, in the background, I'm learning about gang stalking, right? And again, you know, I'm getting things wrong. I'm looking into things and I'm looking for it in my real life. Okay, I'm sure I got things wrong, and I didn't care at the time. But I'm actually looking. I live in a small town. I'm looking for this shit, right? I don't see it. I don't see any color patterns. And trust me, I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it. I didn't see it. Like I was being objective. So I'm like, this shit, I'm like on the fence about it. I think these people are crazy because these two people I named, Stop Invasion of Privacy and Kevin Perlman, are crazy. The first gang stalking video I saw was that lady yelling at the mailman. I'm like, that lady's nuts. I seen that like 10 years before I knew what gang stalking was. I'm like, that mailman's not even following you. And she was even showing all these UPS trucks and whatever, like post office trucks. And I was just like, man, that lady's nuts. So the first thing I noticed in my gang stalking, okay, there's a fusion center built, because this is a long sustained period of time I'm talking about, from 2016 to 2019. There is there's a fusion center built, first of its kind in that area, because like they were being built. They had them in some places, but they're starting to be built in every state at this time. If you look at like they really wanted them everywhere. So the first thing I noticed is a bunch of military. There you go, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, and like I lived in this area my whole life. You don't, you'll see it once in a while, like a veteran. It's not like a veteran. It was like all over. Like these were government contractors. They had plates from all over the place. Like I live in Pennsylvania. The only plates you really see are Pennsylvania. Like you're gonna see a certain amount of plates of the surrounding states. Pennsylvania, you'll see a New Jersey. You might see a New York. You might see a Delaware plate. You might see Connecticut. Okay, those are like some of the normal ones you'll see. So I was seeing plates from like Hawaii, Missouri, Montana, Idaho, Wisconsin. And like it'll be like you'll drive down the road and you'll see like 20 of these cars, right? Instead of the Pennsylvania ones, right? And it was just in a short, sustained period of time. And these people were driving in Jeeps with like radios in it, like fucking not really newer Jeeps. Like a dude had an older red Jeep with like some type of military radio in it. Like you knew these people didn't fucking belong. Okay. I grew up in this area my whole entire life. And even when I go back to this day, you don't see that shit. Another thing they were doing was Florida license plates. Just like how I see the license plates now, they would put Florida because I was from Florida. So like everywhere, like just like in staging, I call it staging the plates for your simulation or whatever. Like they know you're going to go somewhere, so they stage the plates. Now, some of them might have been rental cars and things like that. I know that, but it was just weird. So that's not really gang stalking, that was just a weird occurrence that I would notice. Now people started running me off the road. Again, I don't know if that's gang stalking. I talked about the people mobbing me at the light. This would happen every few months. Like it wasn't that serious. Okay. So I started working at this pizza job, right? This is when the gang stalking starts. Like the pizza job is literally the inception. This is where it's ground zero. Like I literally, if I could say where I got put into the program, it would have to be there. Okay, so things are slow there. I'm making good money. They first and foremost, they scheduled me 7 days a week, which I found really fucking weird. At first I thought it was an accident, but I worked a whole month, 7 days a week. And then he finally says, "Oh, my bad, I didn't mean to do that." So there's girls that work there. No one's paying me any attention for the first month, maybe 2 months. Now, I forget what happened exactly. Like there's these Spanish people that work there and they work there with no breaks. Like they weren't allowed to take breaks. And like the job was being like, I was like kind of going crazy at this point. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was going crazy. And I'll go into I think it was because I drank a lot of alcohol and shit like that. Like I used to drink a lot, but and smoke a lot of weed. Like that shit can, if you do that shit a lot, it can kind of, I'm not saying some of the stuff ain't real that happened, but I was acting kind of, now that I look at back, I'm like, yeah, that's not me. Like I was acting kind of weird at that time. But so these Spanish people are working 7 days a week, or 7 days a week, no breaks, 11 hours, open to close. Uh, I just didn't think that was right and shit. So I'm being a weirdo. So you got to keep that in mind. Like I'm being weird. I'm being hostile at this time. I live at my parents' house. I print out a Homeland Security paper. Like I go to their website and I print it out. I didn't submit a report. I didn't do shit. I didn't do nothing, bro. I didn't submit a report. I just wanted to scare them. I just wanted to leave it, put Homeland Security paper, and then I checked off the human trafficking and I printed it out. And I was gonna leave it somewhere in the job just as like a subliminal message. Like I was a little conniving dickhead back then, you know? Like I do that psyop shit too, back at the program. So just so they would pick it up and be all shook, like what the fuck? So I leave that in my car. I never even bring that into the restaurant because I think I have a change of heart. So I go into that day, gonna drop that Homeland Security page like somewhere where someone can see it, where it says human trafficking. And the boss comes, he's like, yo, come here. Oh, here's some money. The manager of the job gives me like $40 that day. He's like, you've been working hard, man. Here, take this. Just as soon as I get into the fucking job. Okay. So to me, I'm not gonna act like I know what the fuck happened, but I'm gonna give you my assumption is they were spying on me and they knew I was gonna bring that paper in. Like, so in order to do that, since I was on my dad's computer, like they had me hacked. And this is before I didn't think I was being gang stalked at this time. I swear to you, I did not. I did not think I was a gang stalking victim at this time. This is way before like I would even start thinking that. So after that, all of the girls at the job were like in love. Well, this one girl was like in love. This was a Mexican girl. You know, she was flirtatious and shit, but she didn't pay me no attention until after that. Then she was like in love with me. She was like, Matrix, blah, blah, blah. Acting like I was so fucking handsome and shit, like out of nowhere. And then like I was even asking her, I'm like, are you getting paid to do this shit? Like, come on, like this is some crazy ass shit right now. And it was just like a big act in front of everybody. Like she had to show that she's doing it. It wasn't, and anytime we were alone or nothing, she wouldn't say nothing. It had to be a big act in front of everyone. So from there, all of the girls at the job like start liking me and shit or whatever for some reason. I feel like they were paid to. And then there was this honeypot chick that like I started getting with or whatever. I'm not gonna get into like details, but her dad was a military cybersecurity specialist, and she claims her mom was a Satanist that like satanically ritually abused her, and I believe her. She said her sister abused her too, like, which I'm not even I don't even know about that shit like that at that time. So she spends the night and shit, and then I wake up and there's this white hair that's sticking out my head that looks like an antenna. Like I'm a person with black people hair. There's a white man's hair that's attached to my scalp. A human like white man's white hair, like an old man's hair, sticking out I would say like my hair is probably a quarter inch. Shit's probably sticking out like an inch and a half, like an inch probably. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, again, I don't know what that shit is. Like, I'm not gonna act like I don't know anything about implants or anything like that. That's never happened to me. I don't have any gray hair. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. When you're 29, you have a gray long hair, and then in your 30s, you have no gray hair. So that's not the big deal. So this is another weird thing that happens. This has to do with gang stalking because this is where this shit starts. I asked the girl that she's like staying at my house for a little bit, like sleeping over or whatever, and like I asked her to borrow. We're kind of almost dating basically, but I asked her to borrow $40 to buy some weed and shit. And I'm like, I'll pay you back because I'm a delivery driver. I'm gonna give you the money back right because you get the better deal, like if you get the half ounce or some shit, so something like that. I'm gonna give you the money back when I get off work. Like I make plenty of money, tips. So it wasn't a big deal. So I go to this delivery and the dude paid with credit card. It was $40 with credit card. I'm holding the credit card receipt and the pen in my hand. I'm like, here. And he's like, oh no. He gives me $40 cash. Like it's a cash order. I'm like, bro, it's credit card. And it was clearly credit card. Like there's no way mistaken. Like, how do you pay for a credit and then pay cash? He gives me exactly 40, right? That's the amount that I owed the girl, right? So I just found it weird. And then the first time the manager gave me 40. Now, this is when it gets fucking weird. I go into this apartment complex parking lot. And I've never seen something like this before. I've never seen anything like it since. I see literally like jumbo jets, like fucking airliners or whatever, like 30 of them in a fucking tango line. I would say between 15 and 30. I didn't really count, but it was just like way more than it should be. And they're all flying one after the other. They're flying low. And I'm like, that can't be fucking safe. Like, what are they all gonna land on the same runway? Like, I never seen anything like that. Like, I'm talking about seconds behind each other. They're not like touching each other. They're maybe what, a couple 100 feet behind each and one, maybe 100 or 200 feet behind or whatever. Like, I don't know. I'm not, probably more than that, but it was just in a 60-second window. I just see 15 planes just. I'm just like, I've never seen more than one or two planes in the sky, and then they're all following each other. These are big ass. I don't know if I guess they were military planes. There's a military base there, so maybe it was military planes. I'm not saying that's gang stalking, but it was just weird. So another thing that happens. The girl says that she was in a mental institution and that people were following her and shit, that people keep tabs on her. But I don't know if she was lying and just playing into it. Because at the end, she acted like there was some weird shit. The girl's name, I'm not going to say her name, but let's just say her name was Jill, right? I would see trucks that were called Jill. Like once I started dating her, Jill trucks, Jill, same spelling and everything. And the day we broke up, it was like this big dramatic, crazy, like MK Ultra breakup, weird shit. Like I'm not gonna go into that story. There was a Jill truck parked in front of the bank, right in front of our store, delivering an 18-wheeler at a fucking bank. Like what the fuck is an 18-wheeler delivering at a bank? Paper, like. But that was the day we broke up. I have that on video. That's literally on my hard drive. So, you know, what else happened here? Just so much weird shit. I would say that girl in that job is where the gang stalking like officially fucking started. Like I got put into the program. But there's other fucking stories too. Like I had an old Chevy Caprice van. It wasn't old, it was like a 2008. And then I sold it because it broke down. And then we went to McDonald's. I saw that same Chevy Caprice. And this isn't a common car. I saw that. That's a coincidence, you know? We leave the McDonald's. She's in the car in front of me, right? We're on a road. There's a gas station to the right. We're on a 3-lane road. So this car from 3 lanes away does a 90-degree sharp angle to literally T-bone the shit out of her driver's side. Like, did not stop. Like, it wasn't bad driving or anything. And that car was the same Chevy Caprice van that I had. It was the same model van. Not the same color, but the same model. Another thing, when the first night she slept over was the first night I moved into my apartment, and someone followed me in a blue, what are they called? Yukons, like the Chevy SUVs that cops drive, the blue ones. What are those? You know, the old, you know how they used to have it's not the Avalanche, it's the SUV version, right? So it's a blue one. It's like, oh shit, a cop is following me to work. I'm smoking a blunt. Like I didn't live far from work. I'm like, damn, bro, I gotta put this blunt out. So he follows me to work. He goes into my work. He talks to this dude that works there. He's wearing a trench coat. He looks like a detective or a private eye. So I go up to the guy when he leaves that works there with me. I'm like, oh shit, was that the cops or something? Was that like a cop? He's like, oh no, that was the fire chief. I'm like, huh, a fire chief driving a blue cop car in a trench coat? So it seemed like he was lying there. I don't know if he was lying or not, but that was just fucking weird. And then on a delivery that same day, there was a police helicopter flying low at the trailer, and there was this crazy lady. And again, this is me like tripping out too, but she was just being weird. She's like grabbing me. She's like, come in, come in. I'm like, nah, I'm not allowed inside. She's like, come in, blah, blah, blah. She said, the helicopters are here. She sounded like a crazy TI, like Jubilina Redeem. Oh, those helicopters, blah, 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 blah. She was like possessed by a demon. She was probably on drugs or something. So it was a weird demonic-like experience. I'm not going to lie there. And that's not even like the beginning of the Gangstalking. I'm going to try to wrap this up as soon as possible. So I moved to North Carolina. Everything's fine. I'm living in hotels for a month or two, and then I get an apartment. That's when the gang stalking starts. I noticed the drone for the first time when I bought weed off this guy I used to work from or whatever. Work with, sorry. And the drone was there. That was the first time I noticed it. Then it would be in all my windows. And I thought it was a star. Like I really did. I'm like, that's a star. It really did look like a star. But I started noticing it's like it's always outside my windows. It's like, okay. And it would go away for some times. Like it did. I started noticing EMF plates. So there was a theme to the license plates when I first moved here, and they had to do with gang stalking. I had EMF plates and EMP plates, but those were regular people. I don't believe those were gang stalkers. I think that was just a coincidence. But eventually I would stop seeing the EMF plates. So I'm like, did those people move? Like, I don't understand this shit. So that was nothing. That was nothing. Nothing at all. So I didn't consider myself targeted at this point. Even after that restaurant, I'm like I just want to forget about that whole experience. It was traumatic. But there was a time after the restaurant where nothing happened, like for a long time. So when I moved to North Carolina, I moved into this apartment. So the first day I look at this apartment, there's this creepy ass Eastern Star black woman. She's like, what you doing here, boy? That type of vibe, right? Weird ass lady, dude. And her sons were gang stalking. So that's the first time I'm just looking, oh, you lost? Like trying to just, like this little Matrix character, like fucking Centurion fucking guarding the Matrix or something, right? So she didn't, like, it gets weirder. Her son, every time I pull in to the neighborhood, it's like a big apartment complex that's one single building with like multiple stories, like really tall, old school. He would be standing outside, wait for me to come, and then to follow me inside. He would do that like time and time again. So this dude was, he lived with his mom. He was like 40, and nothing wrong with living with your mom. This is like a lifer though. Like he couldn't, he's never tried to work or anything. You know what I'm saying? And I think his brother was like special needs. He didn't follow me as much, but that dude was so creepy, and you could just tell he was assigned to follow me. So I moved into that apartment. Let's see, what was the first things that really happened was the car vandalism. So the radiator from I had a Chevy Cobalt, that shit starts overheating at red lights. So if I'm at a red light, my car heating gauge would go way hot, and it would shut down the car. So I had to keep it moving, let air go through the radiator. So that car, I don't know. I don't think they did that. I'm not blaming them for that. But this is where I will blame it. So that car, I sell it. It's fucked up. Whatever, like it's a used car. I'm not gonna specifically blame them. So I get a Cadillac for $5,000. I had to buy my credit card because I didn't have any money. But I used to have I used to have really good credit. So I'm like, I'm gonna buy the credit card. I can't get an auto loan. I'm gonna pay it back with working, right? Try to do like $1,000 a month or something, right? If I can. So 2005 Cadillac DeVille, it's don't let the year fool you. It's a nice car. So I pulled, maybe the first day it didn't get scratched, but by like the second day, I started noticing little scratches. I'm like, man, did I buy this car like this? Then I started, like, these scratches had patterns. It was like it wasn't normal key scratches. Like they started using different tools to scratch it and shit. And it's always on the driver's side door. They strip some paint off the bumper with some like paint stripper. So like they would do that multiple times a day sometimes, right? I would park it under a camera and they would never catch anything on camera. So I'm not gonna speculate on that. I don't know, but it was legit happening. Like I was taking before and after pictures and it's like more scratches, more scratches, more scratches. Like it was ridiculous, right? So that car, the alternator dies within a week. That I don't blame on the program, okay? Because I put my cell phone charger in there and it could have drained the battery because I left the where you put the cigarette lighter, I left that in there. And with Cadillacs, I did read online that you shouldn't do that. So again, I don't blame everything on Gangstalking. Now this is when things get interesting. I hire a mechanic to fix it, $700. Now the next day that the mechanic fixes the car, my Cadillac overheats. The radiator starts overheating like the fucking first car. So I'm at it, and it's not like some little problem. It's literally your car is fine, and then you go to a red light a day later, and your car, the gauge is like overheating where it's like fucking about to catch on fire. I'm like, I've never seen this happen. Like fucking two cars in a row. Like what? So I believe I sell that car. I get my parents give me a car. Once they give me the car, the battery dies. This is when the drones is on me. That car is vibrating, it's going vroom, vroom. All the lights would vibrate on it. And they fucking do a whole bunch of stuff to that. Like, I don't really want to go into stories, but basically, I'll give you an idea. So, something happens to the car, I'll fix it. The same day, something else will break. Like, that would happen all the time. I go on a trip to see my parents. My tires would get like slashed, or not slashed, but all the air will be out of it. I started a job. You know, I'm in a financial situation. I'm starting a brand new job. The first day I start the job, the power dies. I forget, what was it? Was it the distributor? It was the distributor. The distributor fucking dies as soon as my first shift. So I can't even, because that job so far, I can't even fucking get there with Lyft. It'd be a waste of time. So this will happen time and time again. Now keep in mind, people are breaking into my house at this time. Someone came in with a blowtorch when I was gone and blew torch my microwave table. They would put glitter glue all over the appliances. It's like little dabs of glitter glue. Like, dude, it was on and on and on. I got DDoS. Like, there was a D-Day attack. I didn't mention that. Where, okay, this is everything that broke. I'm gonna tell you everything that broke on the same day. I had a wireless barber clipper that cost like $40, no longer working. Okay. I got for Christmas a jump starter. This is a DeWalt $300 jump starter. No longer works. It's no longer working. All this in the same week. People are coming in. I have Ralph Lauren polo socks. You know, cool ass ankle socks. People are putting holes in them. Brand new socks I haven't worn yet because you wear some of the pairs and then there's some that are new. Holes in those. Pulling strings out of the shirts. Scratching up my Nike boots. Like, dude, this was nonstop. It's every time you left your fucking house, bro. Something like noticeably would happen. And yeah, you are looking for it because you don't realize that you live in a world where people will just come in and out of your house like that. Like, so what else happened here? So that's the first apartment. You know, things die down for months at a time, maybe 2 months at a time. You'll get like things here and there. I got a debit card that had 666 in it. During the financial, when they were fucking up my car, like it was, imagine you buy a car for $5,000 and then you have to like fucking sell it immediately and you already spent 1,400 in repairing it and you only had it for 2 months. So they were sending checks, like they sent a check to the last tenant, but they showed the amount through where you see the name and the address. They showed the amount. So I don't know if that was by accident. I mean, I find that fucking weird. Like it came at that same time. I got the 666 debit card that I returned. Um, yeah, that was pretty much it for the first apartment. So I moved to the second apartment. and things are calm for the first few months. Then, you know, I was kind of looking into things. I think I was a lot more wrong and more paranoid, but vandalism slowed down there. Not gonna lie, the car vandalism. It did happen to my rental cars and things, but it was more break-ins. You know, I had a blow-up mattress. You know, just some you get off Amazon for like $40. You know, it's kind of handy, but blow-up mattress. Someone had sex on it, left like a semen stain on it. Like I only slept on that shit once. Uh, I would come home, Hispanic woman's hair on my table and shit. Like they were poking little holes. Like it wasn't as bad as the first apartment. There was a lot of grace period times where like shit didn't happen. And I feel like the stuff that did happen was because of the YouTube channel, like in that apartment. So what else happened? I mean, I was getting black Apache helicopters for a while. So like I would like a couple. I left to go visit my parents, so I'm in a different. I think I'm in Virginia at this time. I stop at a gas station. Fucking black Apache, literally at 150, 200 feet, just rattles the whole fucking gas station just because I parked there. Like that for sure was for me, but just a lot of fucking weird shit, dude. I mean, just incredibly a lot of weird fucking shit, dude, that happened at this time, man. I'm not even telling you half of it. And again, it doesn't sound that severe. None of these are meant to sound severe, but when you're going through multiple tactics for a sustained period of time and you're always looking over your shoulder, it doesn't matter how severe the text. I mean, I had an instance where I had $400 stolen from my DoorDash through a scammer, and it would happen coinciding with like the car breaking down too. Like it would happen in the same week. So like it's not that bad things are happening, but they're happening so frequently that it has to be organized because you know you live a whole life. Yeah, usually if something bad happens, it's your fault. You did something. Like I remember I ran over a cone with my old ass Celica back in the day, way before Gangstalking, because I'm at a hotel and you know, this was a transition period. I didn't always stay in hotels, but this I was moving back home or something, and they were doing like some type of run or some type of walk, and they just boxed everyone in. Like the entrance of my hotel had a cone. There's people standing there, like these little teenage kids standing there in front of the cones. I'm like, dude, can you move the cone so I can leave? They're like, no, you can't leave. So I fucking ran over the cone and I had to get a new tire rod. See, like when something happens with a car, it's usually something you did or something you neglected. Not like you fix something and then the same day something else breaks. You know, it could be the mechanic, it could not be, but it's by design. So you lose money. You spend 700 on something and then you have to spend an extra 300. You know, you go kind of crazy when that happens 2 or 3 times, 4 times. But let's talk about the honeypot. So I went on POF. I used to get like psychologists fucking hitting me up, people, women in psychology degrees, and some of it isn't me closing the deal. Like I suck at online dating. I don't really do it no more. But I met this one chick. Her name was fucking. Her name was like a dude's name. It was a black woman with a kid, but her name was Demetrius, but it was spelled different. I'm like, is it Demetrius? Like, is it? No, she's like, oh no, it's Demetrius, like the guy's name. I'm like, okay, so that's like a psyop. So if I let's say I were to date that woman, like, who you dating? Oh, I go out with Demetrius. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't. I don't think that was her real name. You know, she had like a profile and all that, but yeah, I believe she was like an Eastern Star or something. I go to a movie theater. The drone. This is the first time I really noticed the drone on me. And this is in Durham. This is in a city that I don't even live in. Okay. So the drone's there. The movie manager of the movie theater, he's sitting in a Masonic pose with his hand on his chin, not a natural one. He's literally doing it for me to see it. She gets there. She knows like 6 people in the line to get food, like mostly dudes. again, just intimidation. Like you're taking out a woman and like she's saying what's up to like 5, 6 dudes, and like maybe one girl was there too. It's just fucking weird. Like on the first date, like how did you know all these people at this fucking movie theater? Like, did you call them for your safety or something? Like some people do shit like that. They're going on a first date. Oh, can you go just in case I'm meeting this guy? Like that does happen, but yeah, I cut it off after that. Cause like I was even quite, it was a mind fuck. It's like, is this a tranny? Is it like what the fuck? She has a kid. You know, she looks like a woman, but she has a dude's name. It's like it was like a psyop. It's like a mind fuck. I'm like, yeah, I'm not dealing with that shit. But just to update what my targeting is now, like I'm under, like this is no exaggeration. I can literally, anybody wants to meet me anywhere in the country, I'm under 24-hour drone surveillance. It was one drone. And again, I don't know if the whole United States is outfitted with like a Skynet of drones. I think that's what it is. And they activate the ones they need to follow whoever they want. Like I'm sure they're using it to stop crimes. This is why the police always know who kills someone. They always know who it is, like, or they find out quickly because of these drones, I believe. But it's 24-hour drone surveillance. It's break-ins. I am hacked. Like there's nothing I can do. I've done factory reset, change password, network passwords. I've done it 100 times. It gets them off for like a few days. They get back on. They slow down any money making apps I get. It's not that serious now. I get 666 plates. I think some of that is like the Matrix, but I get the vanity plates. I used to get the Keck license plates. Keck is chaos magic. I used to post on 4chan. Keck was really popular when I was posting in 2016. Pepe the Frog, Keck. So they use that. It means LOL in World of Warcraft. So it's something that I'm sensitized to. And I would see, like, it's okay to see a couple, you know, that's normal of any combination. What I'm talking about, I used to walk and I'd see them everywhere. Like they drive past me 100 times. I see like Keck 666. I see Keck from New York, Keck from New Mexico. Like I have all this shit documented. You don't see any combination in that frequency from other states. It's impossible. So I believe that has to do with brain mapping, Pokemon Go type of shit. Like I don't think those are actual. I think most of those are normal people. But maybe they're fake plates. I fucking don't know. But my gang stalking has never been, besides the couple times I just explained. Like, let's go back to the first apartment with that weird lady. Okay, this is how I know she was a gang stalker, like an actual gang stalker that follows you on foot. The day I move out of that apartment, I'm working at Circle K. I'm in a different city in Circle K, about 10, 15 minutes away. Okay. It's an adjacent city. But there's a Circle K right next to that apartment. There's multiple Circle Ks. So I leave that apartment. I go into the hotel for the first day. I go my first day of work. That lady shows up that was there. And she's acting fucking weird, like cryptic. We're in a Circle K. I'm a cashier. It's me and my manager. This white lady, right? That acted black. And she's sitting there just chatting up a storm like she knows that lady. She's like, oh, I was just in the neighborhood getting this, and that. And she's wearing earrings that have eyeballs. You know, the all-seeing eye? She's wearing those earrings. And she's sitting there, she's just on the cooler, she's eating, instead of paying for the food, she's just eating it and talking to us. And I'm like thinking maybe my manager knows her or something, blah, blah, blah. But she's just sitting there relaxed. It wasn't about her gang stalking. It was like she was really enjoying it. Like, oh yeah, like doing like spell work almost, you know? You can just see in her eyes. Like, I don't know if she was intoxicated or what, but the way she was acting was just not normal. It was early in the morning, like 6 in the morning. She eating a banana, just fucking lounging and shit, and then finally pays for it. We don't even know if she's paying for it, but the way she's acting, I'm like, she has to be cool with the manager. She leaves. I'm like, do you know that lady like that? She's like, nah, I never seen that lady in my life. The way she was talking to her and everything, it was weird. So she knew where I worked. and that was the assignment. So again, that's more of like the spiritual, like she seemed like demonic, like let's be honest. But at that gas station, they try to kill me with CO2 gas. There's a CO2 leak. The reader was going off. My manager magically went on vacation, so I'm working by myself. The other manager, she's even complained, this assistant manager. Keep in mind, this assistant manager was stealing so much money. She was doing cash drops of like basically saying like this person, she had access to all of our codes. So my cash register was always on point. I always even had money over. There's so many cameras, no point of stealing. There's no point of stealing, and it's pretty easy to have a even cash register. Then she started stealing, bro. My register would be down 300 a day, like daily. I told the manager, like, yo, like, why is my register? The manager was covering up for it. Like, I think they were lovers. I think they were lesbian lovers or something, you know? But she was like covering up. She was always in money problems and money struggles, asking can you cash at me $3 and I'll pay you back tomorrow? Like, so she had a girlfriend, like this lesbian chick. She had a girlfriend that was like, she had to pay for her hair, her nail, like one of them type of chicks that didn't work. She had to do anything to keep her, pay bills, all that. So there's this one kid that was like schizophrenic or something. Like he was a legit schizophrenic, non-functioning, nice kid, but he just couldn't function. You're like, my name is Daniel. Yush. $3. Like, nice kid and shit, but you could just look in his eyes and shit. He had problems, took medication. His register was down 900. Like, this kid would never steal, dude. Like, his was down 900 one day, and mine was down 300 the same day. And the manager's like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. I was like, nah, bro. Like, how's no one, like, arresting us right now? Or fucking, how are the cops here? $1,000 missing a day? So, oh, yeah, the CO2 leak. So the CO2 reader was going off, and like this guy was a maintenance man, country, North Carolina white dude, seemed like the nicest dude ever, right? Then all of a sudden, like, flips one day. The girl's like, we can't breathe in here. Like, dude, you had to keep the doors open. It felt like the inside of my stomach was like expanding. But when the doors were open, it was okay. I had 2 doors next to the register. But if you kept those doors closed, dude, it was definitely dangerous. Like, yeah, you could feel it. It's not like you feel a little lightheaded. Like, no, you feel like your stomach's expanding, like your organs are expanding. So he like refused to fit. He's like, it's fine. He's like, the reader's going off. Like, it was clearly going off, just beeping, beep, 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 beep. And I'm there working alone and shit. So I don't know. I felt like that was something to fuck with me. This is my opinion. Because that guy was such a nice dude. He was getting like angry and like trying to be at him. It's fine, blah, blah, blah. Like, why would we lie about you? The reader's going off. We feel sick. We feel like we're going to pass out. We have to keep the doors open. So just something ain't right about that shit, dude. But besides that, I haven't really gotten poisoned to my knowledge. In the apartment, I felt like kind of mind control. Like, this is when I will say, I always, this is back in my conspiracy underground days. But when I had that Google display plugged in, there was something just EMF-y about that shit. There's something about that shit. So let's read these chats and I'm gonna get off. No joke, dude. Do you think you may have gotten brain damage from the car crash? No, because my head didn't hurt. The only thing that did hurt was my ribs. My ribs were like fractured for a little bit or something. So I didn't have any head trauma, no memory issues, nothing. It's a car accident. I should have went to the hospital though. My theory is head trauma may cause schizophrenia. Well, drugs can do probably worse than a car accident, but yeah, severe head injury. That's like you have bandages on your head, you can't speak, you have to relearn how to talk. I haven't had any experience hitting my head at all. Like not as a kid, not nothing. So I might have something wrong with me, maybe anxiety, something like that. But I don't know. I have wacky, like as you can tell from my videos, I have wacky ideas and shit. I have an imagination, but as far as interacting with people, I have no issue. Anything else you can speculate on, but like interacting in public or social cues, I'm not that bad at. So check the battery. Almost. I gotta fucking end this shit soon. I'm gonna try to wrap this up right now. So like again, it doesn't sound that fucking bad, but I've gotten every single aspect of game. I've gotten in the first apartment, I was getting directed energy until I threatened to fucking beat up my neighbor. There was this white dude. He wore sunglasses 24 hours a day, khaki short sunglasses. Lived in a shitty ass apartment. Drove like a nice car. He looked like a government spook to me. Like he would come home at night because I would see in my window. You know, I was attentive at that time because I thought gang stalking was everywhere. And he would come home at 11, 12 o'clock at night and with his sunglasses on. Maybe they're prescription, you know, but his whole vibe was just government spook. Uh, there was another guy that used to synchronize smoke cigarettes in the stairway. And every time I leave my apartment, I told the story. I don't want to go into, I don't have the battery life, but he ended up dying. I picked him up. He was coughing up blood all over the wall in the hallway. He's like, "Can you help me to my apartment?" And like, he couldn't even walk and shit. But yeah, I mean, the on foot gang stalking has literally died down to a zero, a null. It's basically just drones hacking. They laid off. I feel like they don't hate me as much now, or maybe they're busy. But maybe they're get money to, I don't know. I feel like they're just kind of done with the heavy harassment stuff. They're just doing surveillance. I live a lifestyle. You can't really run too many psyops on me. Like you can't introduce people into my life. Like it's not easy to be like, oh, like go befriend Matrix Decoded, or it's not that easy. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this shit up. I'm gonna read the comments. My battery's dying. I gotta charge my phone. Yeah, let me know what you think about that testimony. I mean, you don't have to like it, think it's the hardest testimony ever. It's not meant to be. Let me talk about the directed energy a little bit. I would get burns on my left arm. Like I have some marks on it now. My bed would vibrate because I did an EMF reader on the phone, and like I did a reading on my light bulb, my wooden table. Light bulb had EMF, and then I did the where I laid my head on the mattress. This is a foam mattress, and it just went through the fucking roof. So now that I'm not on that bed, I'm in hotels. That bed used to vibrate all the fucking time, dude. Like I'd be laying in bed, and I thought it was my body because sometimes if you have like a really active day, your body vibrates for a little bit, but it's like an intense vibration. Now, my theory on that is some type of healing thing. Like that's just my theory. This is some type of breakaway civilization technology, and it's like scanning or healing. I don't think it's doing anything really that bad, but I'm talking about massage chair vibration, and it only happened at like 3 in the morning. But I haven't gotten that in any of the hotel beds yet, and I've been working all day. So, but after the first apartment, the directed energy stopped. You know, uh, well, besides the bed vibration, that continued on, but no burns, no fucking. Now there's some weird shit where I feel like a frequency is being pumped into the apartment, and it's maybe a mind control frequency. I'm not saying that's what's going on. That's just the feeling of it, more than like a directed energy attack. So I'm not no expert in that shit. I don't talk about it. I don't get it. Don't claim to get it. Definitely real. I mean, but yeah, I'm wrapping this shit up. Thanks for listening. Tell me what you think, whether it's a good testimony or not. But Whether you think I'm real or not, let me know.